Hi, I'm Nilesh Karani from Kings. Welcome to the Soul to Soul series. This is episode 12, Designing an Oxford. So I'm really excited about this particular episode because all the previous episodes that I have done have culminated to this particular episode where we finally go into actually designing a shoe on our website. So here we go. So this is our website. This is our home page. You will see a custom shop option over here. Just click on it. This is the custom shop page that will open up. You can see the various categories of shoes and other products that you can make. So we have shoes here. There's a golf shoe creation for men. There's a section for belts. There's a section for cigar cases. There is a section for stencil studio where you can create stencil shoes. And we have a traveler section where you can create customized bags. So today I'm going to cover creating a custom Oxford shoe. So go into men's formal and you will have all these options: Oxford derby loafers, monk straps, etc. Let's select an Oxford. Within the Oxford we have more subcategories or models that you can say. So we have a hole cut, a cap toe, wingtip and a saddle. Just for illustration purposes, we'll create a cap toe model today. Now when you click on this, you will see that you get 4 options. Now one is a regular cap toe, one is a Goodyear welted, which I've already explained in my previous episodes. Then we have the patina in regular construction, or patina in a Goodyear welted. All right, now let's create a Goodyear welted cap toe. Now once you have selected that, you would get an option of a toe shape that you need to select. So this is a classic round toe, which is a Zurigo. This is a classic square toe, which is called the Monty. And this is the Savile, which is an aesthetic toe shape which has got a bump over here. Let's select Savile today. So you can see there is a cap toe Oxford over here. This is a 360-degree interface where you can actually move the shoe around with your mouse or with your finger, depending on what kind of device you have. Now the best part of this particular interface is that it is 100% customizable. You can tap on any part of the shoe and select the material that you want on that particular part. All right, so let's select the cap toe, and the most frequently used material of leather that is used on any shoe is the painted calf. Let's get a black color painted calf cap toe, and if you want the whole shoe to be of that particular color, you can always say apply to all, and you can see that all the parts of the shoe have gone to just one color. Now say you want some more modification, you just don't want it to be black, you want this particular portion, which is the vamp, to be of a different color. You could actually go and select a different material. For example, we have a croc option in the materials where you can actually select black croc, and you can see that the shoe or the vamp has changed into a black croc material over here. Similarly, you could tap on the quarter of the shoe and select any other color or any other material. For example, let's select a gray suede over here, and here you can see the shoe has changed into suede, croc and painted calf. Not only that, you can tap on the sole of the shoe and actually select a different color of the sole. See that? Okay, so this is one part. Even on the inside, the lining of the shoe, you can actually select a different color of the lining inside the shoe. Now this is just the, I would say, surface of the shoe. There are other features. For example, if you wanted something different on the sole, the sole by default is a leather sole, but if you wanted rubber infused in the leather just because you want more grip on the surface, you could actually select, you could go to this tab which is called the toe cap accessories, soles and stencil art, and click on leather sole which shows rubber with it. And there you go, that there is rubber infused on the leather sole. Here too you can tap on the sole, go to materials and select the color that you want on the sole. Not only that, there are some more decorations that you can do in this particular option. Now if you wanted broguing on the toe cap, there is an option here called punch cap. You could select that and you can see that there is a punch broguing on the toe cap. You could also select a different kind of a welt. The welt is the stitching that you get on the sole. So by default it's a city welt over here, but you could tap on country and you can see that the welt has come up a bit. Okay, that's called the country welt. And if you want, you could select a storm welt which has got a different kind of rugged edges over here. Also, we do have an option of a higher heel if you want. So by default you get a standard heel, but if you tap here you can see that the heel has increased by a couple of millimeters over here, just to give you that extra height if you need it. Okay, so that's a cap toe. This is how you do the customization process. And if you already know your sizing, then you could add to cart. And here you will see a sample of the shoe design that you have selected, so that you are sure that you are selecting the correct model and the correct changes that you want. And here you can basically select what is the measurement that you want, whether you want UK, Euro, US, Japanese or Korean sizing. Say for example you select UK, alright, then you select the sizing. Say mine is 8.5, so I'm selecting an 8.5. I wear a regular width, so that's a D width, but if somebody requires a wider width, we could opt for double E or a triple E as well. So double E gives you a 9mm extra contour, whereas a triple E gives you a 1.35 centimeter extra contour. So I would select D, and if anybody wants their initials on the heel, you can always enter the initials here. So I could just put my initials, NK, and add to cart. So these are some previous shoes I had created for some demonstrations to customers, and you can see this particular shoe I just created, and it shows up over here. I can click on checkout and actually complete the purchasing of the shoe, and it takes about 4 to 6 weeks for the shoes to be made. They are all made in Spain, and they would be delivered to you to the address that you mention in the next screen. In this particular video, I'm going to cover how you can customize a patina on your Oxford shoes. So once you are in the custom shop, scroll down to the men's formal category and go straight to the Oxford. And for illustration purposes, I'm going to take patina on a cap toe. You will get an option to select a toe shape. For illustration, I'm going to select Savile. So here you can see the interface open. This is the cap toe, and on this side you can see the different kind of patinas that we offer. Here you have the choice of marble patina, papiro patina, regular patina and museum patina. over here. Let's say we want to create something in a gray shade. So the options that we have, I'm clicking on the toe cap and selecting regular patina in gray color, and you can see there are strokes in one direction that are created here. And if I say apply to all, the whole shoe is done in regular patina and gray color. You can see that. And let's try the papiro patina. You can see the checkered kind of a design over here that is displayed. And again, if we do apply to all, the whole shoe is in a checkered design, which is a papiro patina. Let me also tell you something about darkening the patina with more intensity. You could go up and select the intensity to be dark, and there you see the contrast points where it's at the toe cap, at the stitch over here, at the quarters here, you can see, and the heel, you can see that they have been darkened a bit more. Okay, and just for you to see the contrast, you could just toggle back and forth just to see the contrast between these two shades. So let's stick to dark because the contrast is much more over here. Now let's check how a marble patina would look in a gray color. And so this is how the shoe looks in a marble patina. Now let me tell you something. Since this particular shoe has got different parts, you can actually have different patinas in different colors on each of the parts. Now for your illustration, I'm going to click on the center part and have camo patina in gray color over here. Okay, and on the back part at the quarter, I'm going to have a different color, say tobacco museum patina over here. So you can actually mix and match different patinas to create a particular pattern of a shoe. All right, experiment and actually see what works for you and what is the style that you would prefer. And you can actually select a shoe which goes with the kind of attire you plan to wear it with. And one more thing, over here you could tap on the sole and change the color of the sole. So here we have an option of black, which actually goes with the shoe. You could click on the laces and select a different lace, like a gray color for example, and I think the rest of the shoe just looks fine. To complete the order, you could just add to cart and select your size and fill in the rest of the details to complete the order. So you can complete the checkout process, enter your shipping details and all the information about the payment. Once the payment is done, it would take 4 to 6 weeks for the shoes to get produced. They get made in Spain and are delivered to you directly depending on what is the shipping address that you put. And that's how you can customize an Oxford and have it delivered to you. The customization process is very simple, like I showed you just now. And if you have any questions regarding this process, you can put on the comments below and I'd revert back to you. Thank you for watching. So before I leave, I would want to leave you with the quote of this week. It's by my favorite Jim Rohn. He says, if you work on your goals will work on you. If you work on your plans will work on you. And all good things that we do to build end up building us. That's it for this particular episode. Stay safe and stay tuned for more next week. Till then, I'm Nilesh Karani from Kings. Be different.